Hi Canisius, it's Wednesday, November 11th, and I'm Alexis Book. In today's news, we will be sitting down with USA Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations, Gina Trippe, as well as Junior Senator Greg Koppra to get more information about the newly approved Griffin Statue. We will also give you an inside look on Picasso's and Palisano in this week's edition of Commuter Life. And as always, we will keep you updated on what happened in sports this past week, as well as all of the upcoming events happening on campus. Stay tuned. This is Canisius Connection. This past Tuesday, Senate approved a $100,000 allocation towards a 1,500-pound Griffin statue in a 19-4-1 vote, with 19 senators voting yes, 4 senators abstaining, and Senator Greg Koppra voting against the statue. Opinions about the statue have been mixed since Senate released its final decision. Some Canisius students feel that the money could have been better spent elsewhere, while other students are excited to have a mascot on campus to bring a sense of school pride. Today, I'm sitting down with Gina Trippe, USA's Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations, and Junior Senator Greg Koppra to further discuss the details of the statue. Hi, Gina. Hi, Greg.
Hi.
So, Gina, my first question's for you. Can you just take a second to explain to the viewers what the contingency fund is and how money is allowed to be spent from it?
Sure. So the contingency fund is a USA fund that every year unused club budgets kind of get rolled into. It's a fund that is essentially like an emergency fund so that there's never like money not there, but it's something that USA can use to fund projects for the entirety of the school. It's fairly limited in what can be used from it. Like, we can't do something that constantly needs to be funded because the money is finite, and we never know like how much money is going to be put into there because it depends on what clubs may or may not spend from their budgets. We also can't do things that like our administration's responsibility, nor can we do things that like it simply can't afford. So there's a lot of limitations on it. It's a very ambiguous fund, but that is it.
Okay. And then, Greg, you were the only senator out of 24 to openly oppose allocating money towards the statue, and you expressed visible contempt for the idea. You've even walked out of the Senate meeting after the voting took place. So why did you vote no, and why are you so emotionally attached to this issue?
I personally voted no for the statue so that the funding for the statue could be pushed back so students could get their voices heard, and so that with the money and with the statue behind, I am passionate about this funding because I want the students to get their voices heard, and I want you all to have your opinions put into this budgeting for the statue. I truly feel like it wasn't like the Undergraduate Student Association didn't hear out each and every student on their opinion. And for the size of this matter, it should have been. And I am fighting and I am passionate about every student because I care about them and I care about their opinions. I care about the students that came to the Senate meeting on Tuesday and expressed their opinions, and I encourage every student to do the same as well. But I voted no so that students will have a voice as well.
Okay. And so, Gina, why didn't USA seek out student opinion before voting?
It was something that we like talked about, and we were taking the approach that we wanted our representatives to go out and talk to people. Like, I know that like I talked to students when I was sitting in class beforehand, and we wanted it to be a conversation like that. But we decided that like a formalized poll wasn't the right answer because surrounding this situation, there was a lot of context that needed to be there that we couldn't necessarily put into a poll without it being so lengthy that students get bored before they reach the poll. It took a lot of explanation and a lot of things that are hard to condense down into something like short and sweet and to the point. And so that's why sending out like formalized polls or surveys isn't necessarily the answer all the time, because there's a lot of like issues and a lot of like information that we need to be able to express in some way that a poll doesn't necessarily encompass.
And I believe that actually a poll would have helped, because it would have allowed students to get their opinion out there. And if you thought of a poll, that it would have helped, and it has helped in the past. And with the different projects like the Golden Dome or the fitness facility in Palisano, they did a poll. They got students' input, and it did help for the funding of that project. And it made students happy that they were getting their opinion out there. And it's very simple, and I even personally made a poll for the students, informing them of these different topics, and also very simple and very targeted to what students want and what students' opinions. So if I'm able to do it within like 30 minutes, I think I did it, then I believe that USA is able to do it as well. And it's very simple, and it's an easy thing to do.
Okay, and thank you, Greg. And now, Gina, a lot of students claim that they didn't know about the statue until the day of voting, despite it being talked about in Senate's weekly minutes and having advertisements in the Griffin about it. Do you think that the students who couldn't find the information about the statue just weren't paying attention, or do you think that this was a result of a lack of communication to the students on USA's part?
I think that there's a combination of both of that. We did our best to kind of like keep it like in students' minds, like it was in the weekly emails. A few times there was a graphic about it in the Griffin. It has been in the minutes. It's been talked about verbally as well. So it's not that it hasn't been present, but at the same time, like if students aren't paying attention to it, then they're not going to know about it, and that's not necessarily their fault. Like they have a ton of other things going on. Like that isn't their job to be worrying about USA things, but it has been out there. At the same time, like, am I saying that we were stellar in like how much information we put out there? Absolutely not. And this is all a learning process for how much information we need to have out there from the start and have readily available versus what information that we have in terms of conversation. So I think it's definitely both factors, whether students like are taking the time to look at this information versus how much we're putting out there. And I think the knowledge about it could be improved in both aspects.
Okay, and Greg, do you have a response to what Gina just said?
Yes, I definitely agree that Senate did get the information out there. It's just I wish Senate took that extra step and got students' opinion on this topic, and reaching out instead of for students reaching out to us. And I feel as a senator of USA, I am striving to reach out to students. I am motivated, and I am encouraging every student to voice their opinion in the different things that I'll be doing throughout this week. And I believe that the communication between USA and the students was very ineffective communication. There was communication on this different information, but the channel of communication was wrong for students, where it could have been communicated like through a poll or through social media even. I just saw it up on social media right as soon as it got passed. It should have been on social media where people would have paid attention to it beforehand. And I believe that not everyone reads the Griffin, and not every student looks at every single email that they get every week. We get thousands of emails, and people are irritated by the amount of emails, but they don't look at the emails. You need to communicate all this information to the students in an effective manner, and it's not. And I'm embarrassed to just find that out now.
Okay, and now this question is for both of you. What would you like to see the rest of the contingency money be spent on?
Something that we've been talking about from the beginning, even from the end of last year, is bringing like a student-run business to campus. something that students can participate in and help keep up, and it would also like bring another service to school that that students want to see. So I know that that's a big project that President Rich Kubiak has been looking into, and he has already beginning the steps to get that into place, and that's going to be a big goal of his for next semester. So I know that's not the only idea, but we're always open to other ideas about what it could be spent on. But I think that a student-run business would be really great for the school and for the students, and I think that there could be a lot of benefits from it.
Okay, and Greg?
For sure, I agree. And that's why I did bring it up at the Senate meeting on Tuesday as an alternative. The different alternatives that I shared were alternatives that students had shared with me personally. But that's one that I strongly encourage Senate to do, and I encourage them to do it now, and I encourage them to do it instead of the statue, because the statue is a very hard topic to grasp. If they were able to do the student business now, which is going to affect the experience of the students, then that would be wonderful. And asking students if they want a student-run business on campus. And then addressing the statue in the future and making sure students' opinions are taken in effect. And I personally don't want my opinion to get in the way, and I want the contingency fund to go towards whatever the students want.
Okay, so Greg, it seems like you're still unhappy with the decision, and I've heard that you're working to change it. What are you doing to make those changes happen?
I'm working on actually today I talked to Beth Krevlin, the Assistant Director of Student Life. I talked to Dr. Mangione about these topics. I am working hard so that the students' opinions and voices will be heard on this issue. I am working on a petition that will stop the funding of the Griffin Statue so students' voices will be heard before Senate will vote on them. And you can still make a difference even though Senate has voted yes on funding the statue. And you can play your part. You can get your voice heard. Come visit me throughout the whole week. Sign the petition, or I'll be sending out a survey that I personally made for the students. Take that survey, get informed on the statue and the different situation that the USA is in, and also come to the Senate meeting. Come to the Senate meeting next Tuesday at 7 o'clock and get your voice heard, because if you don't, nothing's going to happen. No change, no difference in the Undergraduate Student Association is going to happen, and Senate is going to continue to not hear out every single student, and they're going to continue to make decisions based on their own opinions and not the opinions of the students.
Okay, and then finally, Gina, how can students find out about future projects that Senate is working on, and how can they express their concerns and opinions if they have any?
There's a variety of ways that students can do that. Each week I take minutes at the meeting, which is basically just typing up the notes of what happens in the meeting, the conversations, everything like that. And those are eventually posted onto the USA website, which is ccusa.squarespace.com. Students can go there to receive information on that. It's still a developing website, but there is information that students can find out there. Students can find out what happened on our social media, Facebook, Twitter. We do some Instagram posts as well, so they can find out some stuff through that. We send out weekly emails every Thursday morning, which have a recap of what has happened in Senate that week, and I encourage students to read that because that's going to be their most comprehensive way to receive the information. It's not, obviously it is not complete. There's only so much that you can put into an email that is comprehensive and something that students are going to read, but that is the most effective way as of right now that we communicate that information. If students want their voices heard, there's a variety of ways they can do that as well. I'm always an advocate for students coming and talking to us personally. We're not monsters, I promise you. We're students. We're normal students, everyday students like you. And the more that you come and talk to us, the more that we can have a conversation and figure out what really is the best way for us to be handling issues. You can always send an email to the USA email. which is usa@canisius.edu, and we respond to those in the most timely and effective way possible. You can always send us Facebook messages or tweet at us, everything like that. We see it all. We respond to everything as quick as we possibly can. And nothing defeats a face-to-face conversation. Come to the USA office. Everyone is welcome to the USA office, which is in the basement of the Student Center. That is the best way that students are going to get their voices heard. We're also taking definitely a bigger stand on bringing ourselves to students as well, and that's something that we're really reiterating to the senators and the representatives and everyone in USA. Is it's not just about students coming to us, but it's us going to students as well.
Okay.
I believe that students aren't going to express their concerns because the reputation of USA is awful, and students aren't going to feel comfortable coming to the Senate office or interacting on social media with USA. They're going to be comfortable when senators go to students and ask them for their opinion. I am personally reaching out to each and every one of you and telling you to sign this petition, not just based on whether you want the statue or not want the statue, so you can have your voice heard. And if USA continues to do these different actions, the reputation of USA is going to continue to decline, and there's no effect is going to happen at all. And I believe strongly about this, and I hope everyone else does as well.
Well, thank you both for being here. And you don't go anywhere, Canisius. When we come back, Brandon and Mike will give you the latest updates in sports in this week's edition of Kessler's Corner.
Everyone loves the picture I posted of you.
AT&T reminds you, it can wait.
Welcome back, everyone, to Canisius Connections. I'm Brandon Rudd.
And I'm Mike McQuaid.
And welcome to a new edition of Kessler's Corner, where we recap all the action that happened around the world of grist sports. Speaking of which, Mike, there wasn't a lot of action this past week. What was a big headline for this past week?
Well, Brandon, the biggest headline for that week was that men's soccer was in the MAC tourney over at Disney. The Griffs' first-round matchup on Thursday had them face against Quinnipiac early on that day. Sadly, that's the only game they would have at Disney due to losing at Quinnipiac in a shutout score of 1-0. The Griffs put up a valiant effort, but it wasn't enough to produce a good outcome for them, and now they will have to wait until next year to do it all again.
Yeah, it has to be disappointing to get eliminated that early in the tournament, but the Griffs have some pieces and they can build on it, and I bet when we see them again, they'll be stronger than they were last year. Now, speaking of getting stronger, men's basketball is getting primed for the start of their season with an exhibition game on Friday against Buffalo State. The Griffs look like they were already in mid-season form in the contest as they beat Buff State with a score of 106-67. Isaiah Gurley led the team in points in the game, putting up 16, and was followed by 4 other teammates who also put up double digits as well. Now, coming up for them is a regular season opener on the road as they look to be 1-0 against Hofstra this Friday.
Well, let's hope they can start out strong. Moving on to the ice. Griffs hockey was in a tough battle this past Saturday as they had to face number 16 ranked Merrimack at the Harbor Center. The Griffs were in a 3-goal hole after the first period, but were able to make a game out of it, scoring 2 goals. Sadly, the rally would end there as the Griffs lost the game 3-2. Dylan McLaughlin and Mike Sabatini were the only ones providing goals to the Griffs in the contest. Shaking off that loss, the Griffs will be back in action this Friday and Saturday at and against Ohio State.
Well, that 2-game series should be exciting for them. Now, for the Volley Griffs, it was anything but exciting for them. They couldn't catch a break this past weekend. In the first contest, the Griffs faced Siena on the road last Saturday and lost the match 2-3. Caitlin Tyler did provide 19 kills, but it wasn't enough for the Griffs to put them over the top. Following that, last Sunday, the Griffs were still on the road and had to face Marist. Sadly, the same result will have happened for them as they lost it again 2-3. Jacqueline Malusa led the team with 18 kills, but that was the only bright spot in the contest. Now coming up for the Volley Griffs is the final 2 regular season games at home this weekend against Ryder and St. Peter's.
In other Griff sports news, swimming and diving went against Colgate University this past Saturday. The men's side won 128.5 to 113.5, but the women's side lost 137 to 95. Coming up in next for swimming and diving is a matchup against St. Bonaventure on Saturday. Cross country is going to compete in the NCAA Northeast Regional on Friday, and women's basketball starts up against Youngstown State on Friday.
Thanks, Mike. Well, that's all we have for you today in Kessler's Corner. We are going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will give you some lifestyle news. And finally, be sure to check us out on the next broadcast on all things Griff Sports, as we will do what we do best, and that's recap the action for you. This has been Brandon Rudd
And Mike McQuaid.
for Kessler's Corner. Happy Veterans Day, everyone.
Welcome back to Canisius Connections. Over the weekend, students gathered in Palisano to distress, relax, and do some arts and crafts. Griffin insider Mike McQuaid went to check it out.
What's happening, Canisius? I'm your roving field reporter, Mike McQuaid. And sorry Marty McFly couldn't be here. I sent him back to 1985. Then again, his 47-year-old self might still be around. But later for him. I'm here tonight at Palisano for the Paint Your Own Plate event, or Paint Your Own Shoe event, or whatever it is. I'll find out. This event, sponsored by SPV, is giving students free arts and crafts, as well as free pizza. So you know it's good. So let's get to it on Commuter Life.
The event proved to be quite popular, drawing in a large crowd of people who wanted to paint their own arts and crafts, including picture frames and jewelry boxes. The SPV also offered a large array of paints for students to choose from, so they could get any color they wanted. In addition, they also offered pizza, soda pop, candy, and also some free SPV swag. I got an exclusive with Alexis Book, the coordinator of the event, to learn more.
So what is the premise of this event?
So it's Picasso's in Palisano. We normally do this annually, but this year we have a little twist, so we have different pairs of shoes people can decorate and take home with them as well. So basically it's just one big arts and crafts night so people can get their mind off of midterms and just paint and hang out with friends.
What kind of things do we have to decorate?
We have various objects. Like I just said, we have pairs of shoes. We also have mason jars that people can decorate, which are super cute to put little objects in. We have various types of frames and different shapes that people can do. We have little jewelry boxes for the females. We have little just blank canvases so you can paint whatever you want. And then we have various SPV swag because SPV is awesome.
This is a clever pun.
Yes, SPV.
Were you pleased with the turnout?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think everyone gets super busy around this time of year, so it's nice to see a lot of students like come together and take a break.
And students definitely get stressed out this time of year, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even I'm normally so busy all the time around this time of year, so to be able to sit down and see everyone relax is really enjoyable.
And it's good to give students a stress-free way to relax without drinking.
Yes, exactly. It is a very fun and safe environment to turn down from all of the hard work you've been doing.
And what is the next event SPB is planning?
So next Saturday, we're having a Hawaiian party in Palisano. So there's going to be someone teaching everyone how to hoop. There's going to be a mechanical surfboard. There's going to be Hawaiian pizza and regular pizza, and just lots of fun Hawaiian-themed activities. So if you want to come and enjoy some warm weather in Palisano while it's getting a little cold out, it's going to be a fun event for you to go to.
Are you going to get the same quick crack coconuts that they had last time?
To be honest, I'm not sure. It's not my event, but people can come by on Saturday and find out for themselves. Plug. Okay, we're done here.
You know, I think that girl was kind of familiar. Where have I seen her before? Ah well, I'll figure it out later. Well, that's all for this episode, guys. Until next time, this is Mike McQuaid saying, I got it covered.
Man, my co-anchor Lexi sure is charming. Now let's take a look at some of the upcoming events happening on campus. This Friday, Student Life is hosting an open mic night. Come on by for music, comedy, and spoken word. C Block is hosting a tailgate, Monday the 16th before the game against Lehigh. One lucky student will have the opportunity to try to make a half-court shot during the halftime for the chance to win a free semester's worth of tuition. Wednesday the 18th, RHA is hosting their annual Thanksgiving dinner. Take a break from studying to enjoy a full Thanksgiving buffet. Well, that's all we have for you today. Keep up to date on what's happening on campus by following Griffin TV on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We air a new show every Wednesday on Channel 4.1 at 7 p.m. This has been Lauren signing off, and from all of us here at Canisius Connection, have a great weekend, Canisius.